Gentlemen, welcome back. You're back with MGTOW Money. Today's topic is going to be a scourge that is going to cost you thousands of dollars, potentially your job, and God forbid, maybe even put you in jail. Before we get to that, though, let me specifically, of course, as always, sincerely thank the ongoing support of the Patreon supporters of this channel, as well as those men who bought me a cup of coffee based upon the last video. Gentlemen, I urge you, see the video description to see about being a supporter of this channel because we are moving it forward. For my book readers out there, I am reading right now an excellent book called Peak Performance. I know a lot of you are all about Kaizen, continuous, never-ending improvement. I urge you, gentlemen, to read Peak Performance. I'll include a link in the description to this excellent book. It profiles various performers, athletes, artistic performers, intellectuals, etc., and comes up with some common principles that they all share. Let's get on to the warning, gentlemen. Let's get on to the scourge that is running rampant throughout the Western world that's going to potentially cost you thousands of dollars, your job, and God help you, put you in jail. Specifically, I'm talking about, in particular, over the past several months, are accusations of sexual harassment, sexual assault, etc. from women of various industries, whether that be music, movies, politics, television, so on. I even saw an opera performer alleging sexual harassment among the conductor or something like that. Look, I get it. A lot of this, number one, is he said, she said, and unfortunately, very few of these have physical evidence. Very few times do we actually have an audio recording. For example, there is one of Weinstein and this Italian model, or some sort of photograph like we've got with Al Franken. So unfortunately, we are running into a lot of he said, she said. Furthermore, unfortunately, many of these claims are being made by women of events that happened 10, 20, I'm even hearing 50 years ago. Are you kidding me? Let me also stipulate, though, I accept these things do happen. Yes, there clearly are circumstances of sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, and frankly, rape in terms of physical actions that men have taken over women. That is not an excuse. Any type of physical force from one human being to another is a crime. If you have initiated force against another human being, in particular of minor age, it is a serious crime. You should be arrested and prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Period. End of story. However, there is a serious percentage of these claims, unfortunately, that we need to look at and we need to consider and you need to be aware of that are not. And you need to, gentlemen, start protecting yourself. Here's some ideas to start protecting yourself, because this could very potentially come up to be an issue. In particular, for those men of you, whether you're on a college campus or if you work in a white-collar office environment, which I did for years and years, more than 2 decades, and was approximately a 50-50 ratio. Let me mention right off the bat 3 recent examples, relatively recent in the past few years, where women have made high-profile false accusations. One being the Duke lacrosse team. You can, of course, Google this. 2 being Jian Ghomeshi. He was a Canadian radio personality. He was actually arrested, prosecuted, and guess what? Fully acquitted at trial. If you read all the trial transcripts, they're unbelievable. 3, this Emma Sokolowski, I can't pronounce her name. This was this Columbia student, college student in the United States who carried around a mattress for months on end, and her story has been thoroughly discredited. So that's just 3 examples. I'm sure that there are many, but let's get to some principles of how you are going to protect yourself. 1, never ever get involved with a woman at your school or your workplace. Period. End of story. The odds are too great, gentlemen, that things are going to go bad. They're going to go sideways. And at the very least, you're going to end up with a very tense atmosphere. And at the very most, you, of course, could be expelled, fired from your job, and then of course we can get on to further ramifications if she really pushes the issue. Because remember, gentlemen, you're guilty until proven innocent. No, it's not the other way where, well, I'm innocent until proven guilty. No, in today's world, and it's becoming even more so, gentlemen, you're guilty until you're able to somehow prove your innocence. All right, 2, always be friendly with women, but don't be a white knight to them. What I mean is, gentlemen, don't be just going out of your way to help them on projects, on schoolwork, etc. Don't give them any sort of impression of being interested in them. Yes, of course, you're going to say, good morning, how are you, how was your weekend, etc. But keep an emotional distance, gentlemen. You know what I'm talking about. You're smart enough to know. Keep it dial back a little bit, gentlemen. Don't get too close. Now, speaking of being close, don't get too physically close to gentlemen. One thing that I used to cringe about, that I frequently encountered when I was working, with women wanting to hug me. Frankly, I don't want to hug anyone, and I especially don't want to hug a woman who I don't know, or even if I do know. I'm good with handshakes, and that was always the first thing that I used to do, was reach out my hand in a handshake. I would be very, very careful about hugging women. And to take it a step further, if you have an office and you're physically working in an office environment, be very careful, gentlemen, about being in the office with just you and her, or in your office with the door shut, or being in a car with you and her in today's world. I've had, unfortunately, these circumstances in the past, and ideally it worked out okay. I didn't have any issues, but in today's world, if you're in an office, I encourage you, keep the door open, and hopefully that there are lots of windows. In other words, you want an office that's like an aquarium, that everyone can see all that's going on. And again, ideally, keep the door open. Next, if it goes wrong, gentlemen, and yes, it's more than possible it can go wrong through no fault of your own. Maybe there's just some sort of personality conflict. Again, I've run into this, unfortunately, many, many times, just due to whatever circumstances. What I have found works is go ghost. In other words, physically avoid any contact with this person that you're having an issue with. With this woman that you're having an issue with, avoid physical contact, eye contact. Throw out the whole being nice, good morning, hello, how are you? Just stay away, gentlemen. Minimize all communications. Be like a ghost. Treat them like a ghost. Just be very, very careful. Yes, it's not a happy environment necessarily to be in, whether you're in school, whether you're working, etc. And so to take it a step further, start looking to change wherever you are, whether that you need to change schools, whether you need to change jobs, whether you need to change your physical office environment. Again, you want to move yourself physically away from this person. Furthermore, do not ever, I can't stress this enough, argue, retaliate, raise your voice to a woman, etc. Be very, very careful, because again, you're guilty until proven innocent. I should also add, if for whatever reason you are charged or some sort of formal accusation has been made against you, gentlemen, do not say anything, meaning do not admit to anything. Do not say, I'm sorry. Do not say, it won't happen again. Before you say anything, make sure that you have legal counsel. In other words, especially if it's a serious situation, make sure you have an attorney present and you reviewed everything that you're going to say. If you have ever been formally charged, whether that be in a school setting or a professional setting, or God help you, in some sort of criminal civil situation. Quickly to sum up, gentlemen, never, ever, under all circumstances, never, ever get involved with a woman at your school or your workplace. Never, period. End of story. 2, be nice. Be nice, gentlemen. Be nice to everybody. But you don't need to be kind. Remember, no extra help. You don't need to be Mr. Nice Guy. 3, always keep a physical distance. Remember, gentlemen, it's handshakes, not hugging. You can be kind. You can have a nice handshake. You can say, hi, how are you? Ha, ha, ha. All that stuff. Okay, 4, if it goes wrong, inevitably, you're going to have at least one circumstance. I'm willing to bet, just odds odds are as you get older, inevitably you're going to have some sort of weird circumstance that happens with a woman. Remember, you're going to go ghost. You're going to physically ignore this person as much as humanly possible. You're going to consider exiting the situation. You are not, under any circumstances, going to retaliate because inevitably, again, I can guarantee you, you will get blamed. And remember, finally, if you are charged in any way, shape, or form, if you are formally charged by anyone at any time, don't talk and you might walk. All right, gentlemen, that sums it up. If you haven't hit the subscribe button already, do so now. If you found this useful, hit the like button. As always, John Galt out.